Welcome, beautiful people from all over the world. You are now tuned into the greatest reaction channel on all of YouTube. It's your boy, Diamond Don Juan, doing a solo reaction today. Now, today I'm going to be reacting to Simon and Garfunkel's The Boxer, and I'm somewhat familiar with them. You know, I know a little bit of, some, I guess, singer-songwriter or folk music from the, 60s, like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, some artists like that. I know a little bit from Simon and Garfunkel, and I was playing this song. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I've heard this song. Like, I recognize, like, that chorus. Like, I fast forward a little bit to see if I could recognize it. That, like, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. But when I listened to this, I was, like, probably, like, a kid, maybe. It was playing on the radio. The title, The Boxer, I was like, I don't know what this song is about. I've heard it, I guess, but it's like distantly heard it. This isn't music that was necessarily played in my household, so I'm not super familiar with it. I didn't grow up listening to it. Maybe I heard it playing on the radio and that little part stuck out, but I really have no idea what the storyline is about. And I do know that they are absolutely incredible songwriters, so I wanted to dive in and just see, what did I miss? What am I going to pick up onto giving it a listen today? And I actually decided I'm going to throw the headphones on because I don't want to miss anything. I feel like their songwriting is just so deep that I really just want to, tune everything out, hone in. And so that's what we're going to do today. Let's dive right in.
Just a poor boy, though my story is seldom told. I squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles. Such are promises, all lies and jest. Still a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. When I left my home and my family, I was no more than a boy in the company of strangers, in the quiet of the railway station, running scared, laying low, seeking out the poorer quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. Lie-la-lie, lie-la-lie-lie, asking only workmen's wages. I come looking for a job, but I get no offers. Just to come on from the wars on 7th Avenue. I do declare there were times when I was so lonesome I took some comfort there. La 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 la.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where the story goes. I mean, it's painting such a vivid picture, and like I said, I do remember that chorus, just that la 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 la. I must have heard it on the radio or something, but I don't remember any of the lyrics or where the story is going. So they're painting such a vivid picture so far that I'm really just interested to, kind of see where we're going with this journey.
La 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 la. My winter clothes and wishing I was gone, going home, where the New York City winters are bleeding me. man stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries the reminders of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out in his anger and his shame, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie. Lie, la, lie. Lie, la, 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 lie, la, lie, la, 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 la,
Yeah, I love the way that song
Sorry.
wrapped up. Just very, it was very interesting sonically. Just like some of the sounds that were there, like the kind of like horns, almost reminded me of like a foghorn. And there's like that, that like like loud, like kind of clapping sound almost. Like I don't know, for some reason it gave me like a feeling of like when a director goes clack, like clacks it, like, you know what I mean? Action. And yeah, it's very interesting. Like, for folk music, I just thought that was an interesting element that they incorporated there. Like, I'm not super familiar, like I said, with folk music from this era. Like I know some of it, but it's not what I grew up listening to in my household. And I definitely enjoy going down these roads because one of the things that I just really appreciate about music, especially from that era with, the folk music genre, is just the way that they describe just like scenes of like kind of everyday life. And, it was this focus on almost like the journey of like the common man, I guess is what you would say. Like, I feel like so much of the music that is more, of this era, if you will, is kind of this glamorized, like take on life in a lot of cases. And granted, there are still artists that, dig deep and, make music that's reflective, but it seems like, especially during this era, there was really a focus on, writing songs that kind of gave the description of like your life for your everyday, common folk, your person that was a factory worker or a boxer or, just your average, Joe that's falling in love and, trying to, find peace in society, working different odd jobs. So I just love the realism that came out of a lot of the music during this era and, those pictures of like actual life is, I guess, the best way that I can describe it. Just like little snapshots and scenes of, what your average person or your common man was going through. I love those elements when they're incorporated into songwriting. So yeah, let me know, what else do we need to react to? I know we've done Sound to Silence, I believe Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And, if there's anything else that we need to react to from Simon and Garfunkel or any other artists, let us know. I read through the comments. I greatly appreciate, the feedback that you give us just in regard to suggestions, but also just, history on a lot of these artists. Like, what was their creative process like? What are some of the deeper themes in the music and inspired them to write these songs? I love hearing that from you because I could Google it. I could look up on ChatGPT, but I appreciate getting the feedback. And sometimes there's just like, just blatantly like false information that gets like, we've been led astray so many times, like trying to like Google stuff or, look stuff up on artists. And there's like, fake news, if you will. A lot of people are, so knowledgeable, and I appreciate the feedback that we get from you. So let us know in the comments if you like this. Hit it with the like, hit it with the sub if you want to see more of this, and I will see you on the next one. All right. Peace.